Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss part 2 of Vaivava's questions of engineering physics laboratory of BTech first year students. So these are the important Vaivava's questions, part 2. So first experiment, aim of the experiment is to study the magnetic field along axis of a circular coil carrying current. Okay, my first question, important question, is how can you increase the region of uniform field? So the answer is by using two identical vertical flat circular coils placed coaxially at a distance equal to the radius of either coil. So by using this technique we can increase the region of a uniform field. Second question is whether the field is uniform at the center or not. Field is maximum at the center and decreases on either side of the coil. Okay, third question is what is tangent law? Tangent law is B is equal to H tangent phi or H tangent theta, where theta or phi is the angle made by the magnetic needle with horizontal component of a earth magnetic field. Here B and H are two mutually perpendicular fields. Okay, next question, next important question is what is magnetic meridian? A plane passing through the axis of a magnetic needle freely suspended through its center of gravity and is at rest under Earth's magnetic field is called magnetic meridian. Again I repeat, a plane passing through the axis of a magnetic needle freely suspended through its center of gravity and is at rest under Earth's field is called magnetic meridian. Next question is why is it necessary to set the plane of the coil in magnetic meridian to make the magnetic field B produced by the circular coil at right angle to the horizontal component of earth magnetic field, right? Again I repeat, why is it necessary to set the plane of the coil in magnetic meridian? I had told you earlier in most of the experiments of this magnetic field of a circular coil carrying current. So you have to place that apparatus in the east-west direction. So why? Because to make the magnetic field B produced by the circular coil at right angle to the horizontal component of magnetic field, earth magnetic field we can say. Next question is what is the practical utility of the knowledge of variation of magnetic field along the axis of circular coil? So it shows the existence of 2 points of inflection where the rate of change of magnetic field with distance is constant. We made use this property in the construction of the galvanometer, right? So next question is what is the source of magnetic field? Electric current is the source of magnetic field or time varying electric field, right? So if current is flowing clockwise in a coil, what is the polarity of the coil? If current is flowing, the polarity of the coil is south, okay, or you can say it is a south polarity. Next, what is the basic difference between electric and magnetic lines of force? The basic difference is the electric lines of force are continuous, whereas the magnetic lines of force are not continuous and they make a closed loop. Magnetic lines of force make a closed loop. 10th question is permanent magnets are made of steel. Why? Because the corrosivity of the steel is greater than iron, so permanent magnets are made of steel. So next, the aim of experiment is to find the frequency of AC mains using electrical vibrator. So first important question is what is the natural frequency of sonometer wire under tension? The natural frequency of a sonometer wire vibrating in a loop is given by T is equal to 1 over under root 2L under root T by M, where T is the tension, M is the mass per unit length, and L is the length of the wire between the bridges, or you can say L is the length of the loop, one loop in that case, right? So this is the natural frequency N, right? Okay, next question is what is the role of a step down transformer used between the AC mains and the electromagnet? So this transformer lowers the alternating voltage, as we already know, before supplying it into the electromagnet. If this transformer is not used, the voltage goes as it is to the electromagnet and becomes very large and it will burn due to overheating. Okay, next question is how will you detect the condition of resonance has reached? So take a small piece of paper known as the rider, that is V-shaped paper. It is kept near the middle of the wire. The length of the vibrating wire between the bridges is adjusted with the help of the bridges so that the rider falls off when the vibrating tuning fork is placed on the board, right? So at that time we say that resonance has occurred, right? So next question is, do you mean the wire vibrates with the same frequency as that of the AC mains? Why? No, the frequency of the vibration of the wire is double the frequency of AC, because during the time of one cycle of AC, wire is attracted 2 times, right? So during time of one cycle means crest, then trough, that is complete one cycle, the AC is attracted 2 times, wire is attracted 2 times, that means it vibrates 2 times. Therefore the frequency of vibration of the wire is double that of AC mains. Okay, next question is, when will the wire resonate? So answer is, the wire will resonate when the length of the vibrating wire is such that its frequency vibration is double the frequency of AC mains, right? Is there any difference between frequency and pitch? Yes, frequency is the number of vibrations made by the force source in 1 second, while pitch is the physical characteristic of the sound which depends upon the frequency, right? Next question is, what is the function of sonometer board? So when the wire vibrates, the energy of vibration is communicated to the board and then to the enclosed air. Due to forced vibration of this large mass of air, loudness is increased. Due to holes, the communication inside air is with external air. Okay, next question is, why should the pulley be frictionless? The friction which is present in the pulley reduces the tension applied, due to which the determined frequency will be less than the actual frequency, right? Okay, next again we will continue with the next question in this experiment. What is an ideal string? So an ideal string is an infinitely thin flexible thread having a uniform diameter throughout. Next is, what do you understand by resonance? In case of forced or maintained vibrations, when the frequency of the driver and driven are same, then the amplitude of vibration of driven becomes large. This phenomena is known as resonance. Okay, next aim of experiment is to measure divergence of a given laser beam. So first question, as this is very important because you had already done the complete chapter of laser, so the basic questions we call from the chapter also, just like define laser. As we already know, laser is light amplification by stimulated emission of radiations, right? So again you can complete the definition with the basic definition. It's only an acronym. Okay, next question is, name the types of laser in common use. ND-YAG laser, helium neon laser, carbon dioxide laser, different types of lasers. So lasers can be 2-level laser, 3-level laser or 4-level laser. So what are the various properties of lasers? Laser light is monochromatic, coherent, directional, highly focused, highly strong beam, strong parallel beam, right? Lot of properties. Explain the principle on which laser is based. As we already know, laser is based on the phenomena of stimulated emission, right? So why population inversion is essential for stimulated emission? Because the rate of stimulated emission can be more than rate of absorption only by achieving population inversion. Again I repeat, why population inversion is essential, ज़रूरी क्यों है for stimulated emission? Because the rate of stimulated emission is more than rate of absorption only by achieving population inversion. अगर population inversion होगा तभी rate of stimulated emission ज़्यादा होगा, हो सकता है rate of absorption से. Okay, then this is the basic phenomena. Okay, what is the wavelength of helium neon laser, ruby laser and semiconductor laser? For ruby laser wavelength is 6943 angstrom. For helium neon laser its wavelength is 6328 angstrom. And for semiconductor laser its wavelength range lies between 7000 angstrom to 30,000 angstrom. Next question is, what is population inversion? Population inversion is the non-equilibrium condition of a material where the number of atoms in the upper energy level is more than the number of atoms in the lower energy level. So define optical pumping. If the pumping is done through optical flash lamp which is supplied to the medium for causing population inversion, then pumping is called optical pumping. Or if luminous energy is supplied to medium for causing population inversion, we can say. What is the cause of divergence of laser beam? As we already know that the laser main components consist of active medium, pumping source and optical resonator. And optical resonator consists of two parts. One is partially transparent mirror and other is completely reflective mirror. So one is partially transparent mirror, which mirror is partially transparent, it acts as an aperture to the light beam. So because of small size of the aperture, light wave suffers diffraction. As a result, laser beam shows divergence in that case. So that is the cause of divergence. So what are the various applications of laser? Laser can be used in industry for cutting, for welding, for drilling, right? Automobile industry, we can say, just like making automobiles, two-wheelers, four-wheelers, etc. Cutting large pieces of solids, metals, right, for drilling purpose. Then lasers are used to destroy kidney stones in medical applications. Lasers are used in the study of atomic physics, we can say, right? Okay, next aim of the experiment is to find dielectric constant and polarizability of a dielectric material. So first is, what is resonance? When the frequency of the driving agency is equal to the natural frequency of the driven agency, that is oscillator, then oscillations of the body is said to be resonant oscillations, and this condition is called resonance. What is a dielectric? As we already know, a material which doesn't conduct electricity, it is an insulator, but on applying external magnetic field to that insulator, induced charges are produced on the surface, and due to different opposite charges, electric field is induced in that. What is a capacitor? It is an arrangement to increase the charge storing capacity of a conductor, we can say. Can we give any amount of charge to the capacitor? No. The maximum charge that can be given to a capacitor is limited by the dielectric strength of the medium between the plates of the capacitor. Okay. Next is how a dielectric slab inserted between the plates of a capacitor increases its capacity. How a dielectric slab increases its capacity? That is, in dielectric slab, the polarization takes place. If polarization takes place, the opposite charges appears on the faces of the dielectric slab. So the potential difference between the plates of a capacitor decreases. This increase in the charge storing capacity of the capacitor, we can say. Okay, define polarization and polarizability of a dielectric medium. Polarization is defined as the process of creating or inducing dipoles in a dielectric medium by external electric field. And polarizability is the ability of an atom or a module, to become polarized in the presence of external electric field, right? So what is dielectric constant of a conductor? Infinite. That is infinite. In case of conductor, the dielectric constant is infinite. Name various types of polarization: electronic polarization, ionic polarization, orientation polarization, space charge polarization, right? So what are the units of dielectric constant? Dielectric constant is a dimensionless quantity, it has no unit. Next is, give some applications of a dielectric material. First is, dielectric materials are used as insulating material in power cables, signal cables. Dielectric materials are used in radiation detectors, thermoionic valves, and the electron-optic devices are prepared using dielectric materials. Thank you very much.